Spooky season is here, and we are highlighting ghostly tales across our area during Friday Frights. We have a live look from our ghost cam in Greer City Cemetery. Now, this headstone has a very unique story that is one of many in the town. It's a legend you can learn about by taking one of the ghost tours downtown, and our Dana Winter joins us live in Greer right now. Dana, looks like a spooky night there for some of these scares.
Yeah, Tori, you could definitely say it's pretty spooky out here. I think we might have had a ghost trying to mess with our camera a couple of minutes ago. You never know what you're going to find out here at Greer City Cemetery. It's one of the places being highlighted by the Heritage Museum in their tours. And joining us now is David Lovegrove. He's the museum director. Thank you so much for being out here with us tonight.
Yes, glad to be here.
First of all, I have to say, I love the lantern. So before we get into everything, can you kind of explain to me what the lantern's for?
The cemetery is unlit. It's a very dark place. So guiding tours through, we need a little bit of light. This lights our way.
Yeah, well, definitely very handy to have, especially as you're on ghost tours. A nice little soft light to, you know, keep the ambiance right. You do have 2 ghost tours this year. So what can you tell us about the cemetery one kicking off tonight?
The cemetery tour starts here in Greer City Cemetery. This cemetery has a lot of stories of important people that did important things. We really focus on the 5 murders and 2 very mysterious deaths that happened here. A lot of spooky things that have happened, a lot of stories that come out of Greer's really interesting history.
And one of those stories, we were talking about it a little bit earlier, is the story of the tilted headstone that we've been looking at.
Yes.
So can you tell our viewers this amazing story?
Well, I was doing research on this headstones, and an elderly gentleman came up to me. These are the headstones of Noah Cannon and his wife Eugenia. The man said, "You know about his ghost, don't you?" And I said, "I don't." He said, "At the darkest point of every night, Noah Cannon comes out of his grave, puts the broken headstones back up on their pedestals, and then by sunrise, they're back down again every night."
So you say no one has ever caught this on camera, but you invite them to.
I invite every one of my tours to spend the night here and try to catch it on camera. No one's ever taken me up on it.
So what kinds of other ghost stories happen here in the cemetery, and what kinds of things are people experiencing as they go through here?
Well, we really are based on the true stories of the lives of the people that lived here. So we call the tour Murder and Mayhem because there really was, Greer was a wild town, kind of Wild West in its early days. So our stories are based on real history, and that does include a lot of mysterious deaths, some outright shootings and murders, including a businessman murdered by his young wife in front of their child, and a mysterious, beautiful 21-year-old girl that no one knew who she was, who just showed up dead in a boarding house one morning.
Now, you also have another tour, that one kind of focusing on Trade Street, and you recommend that people actually do that tour first. So can you tell us what people can expect from that tour and why it should be done in that order?
Sure. There are several stories of that on ghosts and stories along Trade Street that those people are buried here. So we point out their graves here, but we don't tell their stories. They'll mean more to you if you've heard them on that tour first.
Why do you think people are just so fascinated by these local ghost stories?
I think what really captivates them is that these are real people, real lives, and real stories, rather than just made-up fanciful things. These things really happened. And even the ghost stories we have are things that were printed in newspapers and books years ago as if they were true. We have to rely on those histories that were written. But that basis in reality is what really captivates people.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the details for everyone. How do they sign up, and how much do the tours cost?
Our website, GreerHeritage.com, is where you get tickets. The Trade Street tour is $12. The cemetery tour is $16.
And then out of all of the ghost stories here, I know it must be hard to pick your favorite one, but is there just one that kind of comes to mind that this is your favorite ghost story?
Well, of the ghost stories, the one that is my favorite is when 5 teenage boys challenged each other to spend Halloween night in this cemetery, and they woke up seeing ghostly hands digging their way out of a grave. They all screamed and ran, and they told the newspaper in 1984 none of them ever returned to the cemetery again.
Oh, wow. So very spooky stuff happening here in Greer. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, David. This is such a cool tour. It goes through all the way up through Halloween.
Right. That's
All
right.
So you do have some time. It's the beginning of the month. Plenty of time to get out here and do the tour. It is Friday night, so you can come out here on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, any of the nights. You can find all the information, again, on their website.